Today we celebrate Juneteenth, a holiday second only to Independence Day in its historical significance. It commemorates June 19th, 1865, the day that the last enslaved people in the rebel states were informed of the Emancipation Proclamation. More broadly, it's a celebration of the contributions of people of color to American society and to our long history of civil rights activism. Currently, all but 3 states in the nation recognize Juneteenth as a state holiday. I call for these states, Hawaii and the Dakotas, to acknowledge the holiday and for it to be declared a national holiday. The Emancipation Proclamation is one of the most important documents in United States history. It is historically significant because it marks the acknowledgement by the United States that the primary cause of the Civil War was slavery and made abolition a war aim. The Confederate States of America were a counter-revolutionary movement founded on the premise of white supremacy. In 1861, the Vice President of the Confederacy, Alexander Stephens, stated, "Our new government is founded upon exactly the opposite ideas. Its foundations are laid, its cornerstone rests upon the great truth that the Negro is not equal to the white man, that the slavery, subordination to the superior race is his natural and normal condition," and explicitly stated that this slavery was the cause of secession. Thus, any war against the Confederacy was a war against slavery. That the Union could not be preserved as it was clear to both sides of the Civil War. However, it was an uncomfortable truth for some, hence the need for the Emancipation Proclamation to state it outright as a war claim. On the 22nd of September, 1862, Abraham Lincoln issued an initial proclamation stating that on the 1st of January, in the year of our Lord 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state, the people whereof shall be then in rebellion against the United States, shall be thenceforth and forever free. On January 1st, 1863, he issued the famous Emancipation Proclamation, which reaffirmed this position and further stated, "I do order and declare that all persons held as slaves within each designated state and parts of states are, and henceforth shall be free, and that the executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authorities therefore will recognize and maintain the freedom of said persons." Now, this policy was intended to give legal justification to the reality that the Union Army faced in the field. Hundreds and thousands of war refugees, people of color fleeing racist oppression, looking to the Army of the United States for their protection. As early as 1861, the Army, under General John C. Fremont, had implemented an emancipation policy in Missouri, albeit this resulted in a controversy that lost him his command. The proclamation also allowed people of color to join the United States military. I further declare and make it known that such persons of a suitable condition shall be received into the armed service of the United States to garrison forts, positions, stations, other places, and to man vessels of all sorts in said service. The proclamation was, of course, limited in both scope and in execution. It could only be fully enforced once the Confederacy had been ultimately defeated, and they did their best to conceal the proclamation's existence. As a result, the enforcement of the order was not completed until June 19, 1865, when Union troops finally liberated Galveston, Texas. Probably best remembered as an important victory in the long struggle against slavery and as a first step towards civil rights. On February 1st, 1865, President Lincoln lent his signature in support of the 13th Amendment, which completely abolished slavery in the United States and was then being submitted for ratification. He's the only president to have signed an amendment to the Constitution, largely because it's not part of the official ratification progress. Sadly, he did not live to see the amendment finally ratified. On December 6th, 1865. Since these early victories, the American people have fought tirelessly to expand civil rights to women, workers, immigrants, LGBTQ people, people of color, and many others. Today we face increasing violence, discrimination, and injustice as the civil rights for which the Union Army and many subsequent reformers fought are being violated. We have known, since our Declaration of Independence, that there would be those who would, through force of law or through force of arms, attempt to deny our fellow citizens their rights. History has shown, however, that no tyrant's power can stand against the people of the United States. Despite the enormous odds against us, liberty ultimately shall prevail. So as we join together today as a nation to celebrate our past triumphs, let us think upon all those who've fallen for our great cause and pledge that those dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.